become a debate amongst board members. I mean, I think that, and I would defer to Mr. Roll on this. It would seem to me that debating issues that are not on the agenda would fall dangerously close to Brown Act violation, if not being a Brown Act violation. But but having something that comes up that board members may comment on without getting into me taking a position and taking a position in opposition and trying to coerce or win over the rest of the board to try to adopt my position as opposed to your position. That, I think, would probably come very close to violence.
Well, again, I don't see it as positional. I see it as collecting information. What's working and what could we do better? I think it's, again, I try to bring it into the idea of a board self-reflecting on just how we're responding to the community or whether we're addressing their needs and talking about the right things. So it's what's working and what could we do better, and not advocating positions.
Do you have a model of another school district doing this? We did these 5 or 6 years ago.
What was your focus at the time, do you recall?
It was open. And budget cuts.
What was very topic-oriented, correct?
It was topic-oriented on the impact of budget cuts we'd implemented.
I see this as not topic-oriented, so I don't see it as trying to advocate positions. I see it, again, as information collection.
So have you participated with another school district in doing this?
Have I, not as a board
a
member, but as an administrator?
And do they still do that now? Is there one that we can observe?
I don't know if there is one. I think for us it would be an excellent activity. I think we could be the trailblazers if there aren't any others.
I'm not opposed to it. As I said earlier, I think it's going to be a challenge for all 5 of us to be at every one of them, based on the difficulty we've had in scheduling other meetings. And I know that the superintendent also has obligations with his family.
I think this is a good idea, but I'm wondering, you started off suggesting 3 before May 15th, and now we're, and the number is double, and do you think we could change the date? I mean, do you really, was there some sort of data collection, or were you thinking, I really want to know what people are feeling out there now, and I don't want to wait until September to find out about that attendance area? I mean, do you feel like it's really important that we get them all?
Well, again, originally, absolutely. I mean, I wanted to start this in January, so we're a month later, but my original proposal, as I was saying a couple of weeks ago, was not to make this too onerous since it's new territory. And I was going to try, and what I said a couple of weeks ago is try to make it a reasonable number. And so people want to double it, that's fine with me. I mean, my original motion was to make it something reasonable, starting with at least 3, because for this particular board, this would be a new adventure.
Well, if we're gonna double it, then maybe we could double the time.
I think the issue I mean, I think that there is some, I think once you start gathering data and about issues that concern the district, there is some value in getting a snapshot of all the schools and the attendance areas at the same time, so you kind of get an idea whether or not the things that you're doing right and the things you're not doing well are the same and viewed the same way at other schools. That's one thing. The other thing is, I think we're rapidly, or not rapidly, I think we need to be rapidly moving towards a strategic plan. And this information, although a different format, might end up as being a piece of our strategic planning process as well. And then the other thing is that as schools get closer to the end of the school year, it becomes more and more difficult to schedule time with, especially at high schools, as they're finalizing and getting close to graduation. I think it becomes more problematic. I mean, as a district, I think we've always tried to stay away from meetings getting out beyond the end, towards the end of May. But
My thinking was not,
all right.
my thinking was extending it into September. It was thinking if you're gonna do three in X amount of months, and maybe in the
I
next.
think then you get, having a need even get, if you're gonna extend it that far, then you need to extend it even farther, because September, the last of August and the beginning of September are insane crazy, because it's the beginning of school,
Okay.
so.
I think the answer is no matter what we do, it's gonna just be an insane and crazy is what
Well,
my feeling was.
and remember, originally, Mr. Eberhard a couple weeks ago said, why don't we do all the schools over 2 years? And my counter argument was, let's make it current. Let's make it current. If you, to me, if you stretch it out, I think it's a critical thing to collect information now in a condensed amount of time and make it current, because if you stretch it out over too much time, issues actually can pop up and change and you're not comparing apples to apples. So I think the more you can feel, you know, it's within a reasonable, recent amount of time, the better the information. It's more alive. So I would still suggest that. I'm happy to double them up, but I'd still suggest that we do that within a 3-month time period.
I'm gonna call for the vote and then we can discuss when we want to have the first couple of them so we can get the agenda, get them going here. So. Vote, the motion carries 5-0-0-0. So.
I suggest that we delay the calendaring until the end of the meeting so that we can conclude the business so folks can go home.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mayo. Please remind me when I forget that.